Hey, Void. How you doing? So, been seeing a few new faces popping up in my feed. So, welcome to the Void. Not used to having people actually paying attention and listening to me. This is rare. Well, welcome. I guess you guys have seen something you like. Nice to meet y'all. All right. Well, video is out, if I haven't said it enough lately. And I'm working through my 31 days for this year, despite having a massive backlog that I'm still trying to chew through. But trying to get through all my reviews is kind of right now is I haven't been getting as many of my backlog done, but we'll get there. Okay. I'm putting off saying this on camera because it's embarrassing. Okay, I'm a fan of George Romero. Seen a lot of George Romero movies. Some great, Night of the Living Dead, either version. Some not so great. Say, Survival of the Dead. But I've seen most of them. One key one I have not seen is the original version of Dawn of the Dead. Yes, I've seen. I'm willing to admit that. I'd love to see it. It just, for some reason, I keep not bumping into it. So, I've already, I think, reviewed both versions of Night of the Living Dead, to my knowledge. Pretty sure I have. I've seen the OG Day of the Dead. I haven't reviewed it yet, but that because I saw it years ago. Well, I don't own a copy. I'd like to get that one though. But I've seen the remake of Dawn of the Dead numerous times, and I do really enjoy this one. So, I do hope to finally correct that and see it. But yes, full disclosure and confession, I have not seen the OG Dawn of the Dead. But now Zack Snyder gets a lot of hate these days, but this was his directorial debut, and dude sells it. A lot of this does work for this. The camera angles and the setups for it, I'm working for me. I'm enjoying what he's doing. Okay, so much like Night of the Living Dead, inexplicably the dead are arising. Unlike Night of the Living Dead, these ones have been drinking the Red Bull because they are fast fuckers in this one. I believe he was taking a page out of 28 Days Later and decided, okay, let's make a fast zombie version of Dawn of the Dead, and really up the gore count on it because woof, some people are juicy here. Okay, so Dawn of the Dead. We are following a nurse who just got off of then from her shift. I do like how they're very subtly leading into it, like you're hearing them talk about how strange some of the cases are. Like, wait, he got put into the ER for a bite wound, and what's he? Then why is he into this kind of surgery? And so things like that. Why did they order this brain scan for that sort of thing? So they're kind of hinting at things that things are off, and even like on her drive home, the radio, you hear like some reports that she's kind of blips past. They begin very subtly, and I appreciate that. Well, this one has very strong opening scenes of her meeting her boyfriend and on her way home talking to a little girl that she knows that's roller skating. Cut to the next morning, the dawn of the dead, to go titular on you. And from there, well, that little girl is suddenly in their bedroom and trying to eat them. And she succeeds in ripping apart our nurse, Anna, played by Sarah Polley, eats her husband and proceeds to chase her around the neighborhood, as well as her husband getting up and chasing her around the neighborhood as she drives off trying to figure out what the fuck. As chaos ensues, zombies everywhere. And they're fast zombies. Well, she crashes the car and sets off on foot and meets up with Kenneth, played by Ving Rhames, being the gruff, tough motherfucker he is. Well, they begin walking through, meet up with another group of survivors, and are all headed to the mall because it's a place to head. Essentially, it has supplies and can be a decent safe haven. Upon getting in there, they meet up with a couple security guards who pretty much are running the place like their own private kingdom. But shortly therein will end up taking control, and as they try to help another group of survivors get their truck in, and now they're all stuck in the mall with the zombies on the outside. Problem is, a few of them may be a little slightly infected, and well, they have to endure trying to problems from without, problems from within, and the realization that they can only stay here so long. Eventually, we're going to have to try to move. So they start souping up some mall shuttles to drive on out. Okay, so the gore effects are stellar in this, I will say. This is before they really started using a lot of extra CG for blood spurts and things, so 2004 was a pretty good year for zombie gore, and this one kind of, I think, helped re-kick off the zombie boom. I mean, 28 Days Later really began and started easing things into it, but I think this was what kicked it into overdrive. I really enjoy a lot of the characters in here. I like some of them have an arc, like CJ, the asshole security guard who's kind of running everything. He's pretty much a complete jerk at the beginning. They lock him in holding, they take him out to help out, and by the end of it, he's coming back and trying to help people, and even then putting himself at great personal risk to help the group. He has a good arc, and I appreciate that. And they actually show him, like, it actually developing. Characters do make some stupid decisions, like Nicole, the younger girl that's with them, does risk herself to save the dog, but it's one of those trauma things where, she's latched onto everything into this dog, and so, yeah, she's risking her life for it and probably the lives of others, but it is kind of believable that she would do this. I will say Lindy Booth does a very good job as her. I know her mostly from Cry Wolf, which is on my docket to watch this month. So she is completely unrecognizable from this awkward, scared, dog-obsessed girl to the very in-control manipulator that she is in Cry Wolf. So she is a very talented actress. The music is interesting in this film. I've never heard like a slow lounge version of Down with the Sickness anywhere else, so that was interesting. But some of the music choices are strange, but they fit the film pretty well, and overall I think they definitely add to it more than detract. I like how they don't go too over the top into like the metal and rock, which a lot of horror films in this time period did. During the film, the credits, sure, go crazy. But in the middle of the film, it's usually more distracting to get that loud and heavy, which, I mean, I love that kind of music, don't get me wrong, but time and place. But having that lounge version of Down with the Sickness, and they're just meandering, waiting around the mall, goofing off, it worked. The characters really are what make this movie work. They're all have very believable performances in the way they interact and play off of each other. They're characters you love to hate, and characters that actually have more of an arc, and some characters who grow and change and adapt with each other. So it's very well put together throughout that. So I do highly recommend Dawn of the Dead. For me, this one, it's a good 9 MacGuffin film. It's really up there for me. So I really hope I'm sure the Romero version is good also. But I think it's like a different kind of animal, so I'm okay with it. So I don't know when I'm going to end up MacGuffining it when I see it, but I do hold high hopes for it because I know it is a classic. So I can't wait to get around to that one, but we'll probably have to after this month and after my backlog, so we'll see what we can do. I think that's all I got on this one. Do highly recommend it, so yeah. That's all for now, Void. Dib Urzo.